10 things to consider when you need to compose an incredible CV. The idea of getting overall quite significant educational plan vitae can't be overemphasized. A ton of employment searchers in Nigeria write an extraordinary CV not considering a portion of the focuses that is recorded beneath. Your CV will decide whether your imminent businesses will call you for a meeting or not. In the event that your CV is pleasing, you have the possibility of making sure about a meeting opening. Yet, on the off chance that no arrangement is made sure about, at that point chances are that your CV was inadequately composed. Here, I will plainly state 10 clear interesting points before you label your CV an extraordinary one. Focus near these focuses, in light of the fact that it is little foxes that ruins the vine. You may be aware of huge blunders and thusly keep away from them, yet you ought to likewise focus on these little focuses. Whenever disregarded, your CV will be a wreck. The association, organization or foundation you are applying to. Accuracy of every one of your records. Your refs. Keep it brief. Use activity words. Be genuine. Format appropriately. Your CV ought to be watchword amicable. Add a connect to your LinkedIn profile. Include your productivity. 1. The association, organization or foundation you are applying to. The principal thing you consider is the association you are applying to. The association will decide about 40% of all you will compose. There are data that doesn't change from association to association. For instance, data like instructive foundation, working experience, and your own subtleties will stay unaltered. Be that as it may, data like vocation goals, leisure activities, reference and aptitudes ought to shift from one association to the next. In giving this data, first think a lot about the association, their necessities, guiding principle, and crucial vision proclamation. With this data, you would then be able to fix your CV. In any case, be certain that since different associations have diverse crucial vision proclamation, at that point your profession goals ought to fluctuate from one application to the next. Your range of abilities and side interests should coordinate with the association's prerequisite. 2. Accuracy of every one of your records. Be educated that your CV isn't the main report you will be required to submit. Along these lines, recorded as a hard copy your CV, survey your reports appropriately to guarantee consistency in your data. For instance, your name ought to be the equivalent for all the reports. However, for a situation where there is an adjustment in the name, the court testimony must be given to show that it is a similar individual. 3. Your referee. In giving your officials, you should be mindful so as not to utilize individuals whose names have flowed for some hostile and pointless activities. Hence, you should do an exhaustive survey of your officials before adding their names to your rundown. In spite of the fact that at times, your officials may not be so fundamental, however may be made accessible upon demand. 4. Keep it brief. Your CV isn't your life account. In this way, keep it as brief as could reasonably be expected. However much as could be expected, keep up the standard 2 pages. Extraordinary CV isn't by how protracted you make yours, so make it brief as could reasonably be expected. 5. Use activity words. Action words are firmly energized. Most particularly, in your vocation goal and work understanding. Your work experience ought to likewise contain your accomplishments. Case of activity words are nevertheless not restricted to achieved, improved, resolved, managed, created, generated, initiated, organized, introduced, identified, increased and so on. 6. Be genuine. Do not overhype yourself in your CV. Numerous individuals will in general lie in their CV just to make sure about the activity. You should be earnest with your CV. Try not to compose an expertise you don't have. Try not to compose and target that isn't accurate. Be genuine and valid. It is better for an organization to utilize you with lacks than to utilize you suspecting you are what your CV says you are. 7. Format appropriately. Format your CV appropriately. Use visual cue in expressing your instructive foundation and working experience. There ought to be consistency in your textual style, type and size. Your headings ought to have bigger textual style from your content, yet it should at present be steady. 8. Your CV ought to be watchword amicable. If you are not sending your CV direct to an organization, this probably won't be such a large amount of significance. However, in a circumstance where you are transferring your CV to a place of work, at that point guarantee that it is watchword amicable to empower searchers to discover it. 9. Add a connect to your LinkedIn profile. If it's an online application, adding a connect to your LinkedIn profile will go far to help and increment your employability. LinkedIn is a long-range interpersonal communication site that helps individuals of related abilities arrange flawlessly. It likewise assists organizations with finding individuals with the aptitudes they need. Subsequently, your LinkedIn profile ought to have a full detail of your professional training and aptitudes. Thus, on the off chance that you don't have a LinkedIn account, attempt to make one preceding you compose your next CV. 10. Include your productivity. Do not simply express the aptitudes you have. Additionally, state how proficient you are in the aptitude. These couple of focuses will help you record it as a hard copy and expert CV. Experience them, in a steady progression. Some may appear to be unimportant, yet significant. What makes a good CV? Things being what they are, what could it be that makes for a decent CV, one that will stand apart from another? We have to begin recognizing the issues, and here are a few. On the off chance that we start with the nuts and bolts, there are decides that oversee the designs, size and substance, which are all promptly got from CV composing sites, and incorporate the accompanying. DOS, be slick. It ought to be satisfying to the eye, in great condition, no reusing or poor copies permitted, and all around spread out. Make it understood, it ought to be anything but difficult to track down your way around. Incorporate the standard realities about yourself. For example, date of birth, no point concealing your age whatever the explanation, it will simply be an aggravation, address, training, email address. This is fundamental as you simply look somewhat miserable on the off chance that you don't have one. And, above all, work understanding. Be certain and sell yourself. Be short and forthright, attempt to have all the significant data on the initial different sides of an A4 sheet. You would then be able to email it easily. Help enlistment specialists, they will cut and glue your CV, acknowledge that reality and help them, by not utilizing headers and footers, giving your report a name that encourages them store and recoup your CV. Adjust it to suit the activity you are applying for, one size doesn't fit all. Try not to incorporate any disappointments, be sure and don't state why you left occupations or that your marriage separated and so forth. Try not to typewrite it as you will look as if you live in obscurity ages. Continuously utilize a PC. Try not to utilize photos, there are a couple of exemptions. Try not to incorporate all that you have ever done, the capability you got for swimming a length of the pool when you were 6 won't be important. Try not to make things up or misrepresent. Evade complex organizing, examples and spreads. Abstain from utilizing CV formats. Utilize these rules and your curriculum vitae will unquestionably be significantly superior to most, yet how would you take it that smidgen further? In the event that, similar to the case, you have such a brief time frame to get the forthcoming business to have a genuine glance at you, how would you ensure that your CV sticks out? Free CV templates. The CV templates mentioned in this video are free to download and have been designed with students and graduates in mind. Use them as a base to build up and help structure your CV. Check the link at the description of the video to download it. Thank you for watching this. If you find this video informative, do like and subscribe and let us know in the comment below about sharing your thought in this. See you in the next video and until then stay tuned to aid the student.